Hi guys, welcome down to Tip Thursday. In this video we're going to be identifying the different takeaway positions of the shaft angle and the club face angle and the impact that it can have on the golf swing, but also the impact it can have on the golf ball once you're starting to strike it. Big thing that I see quite often is the club face opening on the backswing and getting quite flat. So the first thing here we see is that the wrist angle is cupped, so that means I've got into an angle, the kind of knuckles have come back towards the forearm. Probably the easiest way to explain it. So we get that cupped position here. As a result as well, if we look at the shaft angle, the shaft now is pointing out towards the right side of my target as opposed to being straight parallel to my target. So there's two things that have happened there. The shaft angle has changed and the club face angle has changed. As I come back into the ball, it's generally going to deliver an open club face at impact, which will therefore send the ball higher and off towards the right hand side. So if I get into that position, my forearms have turned, my wrists have turned, club face has rotated. I'm going to have to really work on rotating through impact just to get the club face back to square. Implications that it can also have on the golf swing is as you start to get the club in this position, you get the club up to the top of the backswing, you possibly get it across the line, but also as you start to come back down, there's two things that can happen. If you're able to get the club on the same path, you're going to be coming in from in to out with a very open club face, therefore causing a push slice. But also from that same position, as you start to get from the top of the backswing, if we start to get disconnected, we can start to cut across the ball, and the same thing can happen again. We can get a slice depending on how the hands have moved back, or a push slice again out towards the right hand side. If we get the opposite sort of effects with the closed club face position. So if we get the face pointing towards the ground, the wrist angle is generally bowed, which then if we keep the club face shut through the whole swing, the club face then is de-lofted and generally pointing out towards the left hand side. Again, directionally, if the club face is not straight at the target or within the realms of being quite straight, it's very, very difficult to hit good shots. One thing I really want to try and work on is trying to get the leading edge parallel to spine angle, or approximately. So what the best way I would kind of teach this is using the toe of the club. Imagine the toe of the club is pointing to 12 o'clock there on a clock face. That's for me is slightly open, but it's also within the parameters of being a decent takeaway position. I prefer to see the club face parallel to spine angle, so I would say try and tilt the club face so it's pointing at the 11 on the clock face. So as you start to take the club away, there, pointing to 11, and then we can hinge up to the top of the backswing. You'll notice that my left wrist now is straight, it's neither cupped or bowed, and therefore I'm keeping good control of the club face on the backswing, and therefore I've got more chance of being able to control it as I start to come into impact. To achieve the position there on the backswing, I'm just really using the bigger muscles. I'm just using the shoulders. My grip position's in a pretty solid position there. My hands are not really going to move, my forearms are not really going to move either, so I'm just going to use the triangle that's created between my shoulders and my hands. I'm just going to tilt it back to there. I'm just going to rotate it. So I'm going to help use my shoulders and my spine angle and my chest to push it back that way, therefore keeping the club face square. And then from that position I can activate the rotation of the hips, the shoulders and the hinge of the wrists with a straight club face, which is going to give me more chance to deliver a straighter shot. So this is not angling for a draw or a fade. We're not talking about swing path or shot shape. We're purely talking about a straight club face position, which regardless of the swing path gives you half a chance to hit the shot within the realms of acceptance, let's say. So we're bringing the club back away, using the shoulders, using the bigger muscles, then we're finishing the swing and we get the shot on the way through as well. That's come out relatively straight. Not the best strike in the world, but I was talking and doing something very deliberate at the same time. So even from that, don't worry about how the strike is, just really focus on the first movement. We don't want to get on the inside, we don't want to get on the outside, we want to try and keep the angle quite straight. Good checkpoint here is that the shaft is parallel down to your target line, and the club face is pointing to 11 on the clock face. So if we take that back again, parallel, 11 o'clock, and then just finish the swing from there. Whether you're out to win or in to out, if the club face is pointing at the target, you've got a good chance of hitting it relatively close. Any other issues from there in the golf swing, you would need to start looking at other videos or going to your local pro to get those ironed out, to get that straighter, and also make sure it's complementing the really straight club face angle that you've now just achieved. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Please do head over to the local driving range, practice that. Let me know how you're getting on. Is this tip something that is going to help you? If it is, please do hit that thumbs up button, and also leave me a comment below. If there's other tips that you'd like to see down here from Dubai, it's generally quite easy now. I can just I'm pretty guaranteed with the weather. It's quite nice. So please do just kind of drop me some comments below, and we'll go and get some tips filmed for you for Tip Thursday. Please do also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Loads of content coming this year. We've got so much lined up. It's really exciting to kind of see what is lined up and how good the content will hopefully come across. Thanks for watching. See you soon.